It has now been a full day of play since Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 was released for early access players, and we now have a pretty good grasp of what people think of the game, as well as a bunch of critical reviews of the game too. On top of that, there are some technical issues to discuss, new dev confirmations of future content, and more. So here's our first Space Marine 2 news update. First off, let's talk about the release and how well it's going. For the most part, it is going quite well. The embargo for reviews on the game was lifted a few days ago, so YouTubers and journalists started putting out their takes on the game. That includes us, by the way. If you'd like to check out all of our thoughts on the game, you can right here. Anyway, the consensus from the reviewers is mostly good. Most people are saying it's a good game, but not an all-time great or anything like that. The combat seems to be the most praised aspect of the game, and the lack of content being the biggest issue the game faces. A couple reviews from big gaming sites to point out include IGN giving it an 8 out of 10, the same review from GameSpot, 8 out of 10, and a similar score from Games Radar, who gave it a 4 out of 5. Its Metacritic score, which takes all the reviews and combines them, gives it an 83 out of 100. As for fans and their reviews, they are pretty similar. Right now the reviews on Steam are mostly positive, although I had heard they were mixed at one point. However, I haven't been able to confirm that. It seems that Warhammer 40k vets that know the series well are overjoyed with this game. Many have said this is exactly what they were hoping for, calling it a love letter to the fans. Of course, those unfamiliar with Warhammer 40k aren't as ecstatic. Even though they aren't necessarily negative about the game, they seem to more or less enjoy it simply for the combat, if nothing else. One of the most impressive numbers is how many players got early access for this game. Just on Steam alone, there have been as many as 134,000 players playing at one time, and that number has stayed pretty consistent, with the low being around 70,000 players concurrently. So this game has been very successful for a pre-order launch, and that number is of course expected to grow in a few days when it comes out for everyone on Monday. Of course, there are some issues with its early access release, and those issues are technical. There have been a lot of complaints about connectivity issues, especially on PlayStation 5. There have been a few official responses from developers on this issue. This one reads, connectivity issues on PS5. Many players seem to have connectivity issues on PS5 especially, being unable to join other players. We are still investigating the issue. We aim to fix all these issues in our first patches. For all other inquiries, please reach out to our support. Thank you again for your support. While another post explains in detail a way of working with raw files to help connect to online services. This is an issue beyond just PlayStation 5, and if you're just having issues in general connecting online. If you want to see all the directions, you can simply pause the video and follow the instructions on screen. There have been other technical problems like crashes. Multiple different crashes have been widely reported, and developers have come up with troubleshooting fixes for at least 3 of them. The first one is just a basic one for all crashes, telling you to deactivate overlay software like Riva Tuner or NVIDIA Overlay, as well as others. The next crash has to do with the very first cinematic of the game. The potential workaround simply states to either please update Windows 10, your version must be above 1507, verify that the game is launching on the correct GPU, and update your GPU driver. And the last crash is related to an infinite loading screen when launching operations. They simply ask you to restart the game. There's also been some controller connectivity problems on Steam. Swanee actually encountered this one when we first received our review code, and it just kind of fixed itself after a while. But if that doesn't happen, the developers do have a few troubleshooting solutions. You can deactivate Steam input to avoid the conflict with controllers. You have to right-click on the game in your library, go to Properties, then Controller, and disable Steam input. Steam doesn't always support wireless controllers, so you have to plug it with USB and then deactivate Steam input to avoid the conflict with the controllers. So there have also been some new ideas that were confirmed in the idea submission forum on Focus Entertainment's website. If you were unaware of this, Focus Entertainment had opened this so that players could give ideas to the developers for future content and fixes, and the devs could directly hear from the players and confirm which ideas are either being worked on already in the game or will be worked on soon. The first one of these posts is asking for an apothecary class in Space Marine 2. It says the classes we have today are awesome, but an area that doesn't seem to be covered is healing. An apothecary unit fills this gap and offers a unique look, Narthesium weapon, and playstyle. This would be a great unit in PvE where there are no places to get your health back, whereas in PvP, it would allow the devs to tinker more with TTK. The response from the dev says, "Hi there, thank you for suggesting this idea. Implementing new classes in the game is an idea we've already had. Just know that this kind of additional content takes time. Thank you. This is awesome to hear that there will be more classes coming, so the 6 we currently have will not be the only ones in the future of this game. Plus, a healing class would be desperately needed on the battlefield, as health is very hard to repair in this game. That being said, it is important to point out that they do not confirm specifically that the apothecary class will be coming to this game, simply that more classes will be coming in the future. In a similar vein, this post was asking for additional heraldry options for customization for certain founding chapters, and the developer responded saying that we are planning to have more heraldry customization options in the future. So that is also confirmed that heraldry customization will not be limited to just what we have right now. There was also a couple ideas that were confirmed to already be present in the game. This post is asking that the season pass for the game should stay available even after the season ends, so those who either can't afford it or don't have the time to beat it within the season limits could still unlock its benefits later. And the developer confirms this with this response. Hello, thank you for your idea. The season pass will stay available post-release, so you will be able to obtain your favorite chapters even after the following season has released. More good news, if you are unaware, comes from this post asking that crossplay be optional for players, and they are able to opt in or out of it simply by toggling a button. The devs confirmed that this is also part of the game, so if you think PC players have an advantage and you're on console, for example, you can now toggle not to play PvP across platforms. And the last piece of information is simply a request from the makers of the game to not be a dick. It says to make sure everyone gets the full Space Marine 2 experience, we kindly ask you one thing: no spoilers. Every Space Marine out there deserves the thrill of discovering the game's story on their own. Together, let's take care of the longtime Warhammer fans and newcomers alike by making sure everyone can enjoy the game without being spoiled. Your fellow brothers and sisters will appreciate it. Alright, so that does it for this Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 news update. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think of this video, especially if you're playing Space Marine 2, and if you'd like more videos like this moving forward. Obviously, we have been covering Helldivers 2 a lot for the past year, and it's been basically our game of choice, but with Helldivers 2 having less information and less things going on, we do want to expand into other games, and that's what we're trying to do with Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. So obviously hearing from you guys is very important. We'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Hit the like button if you like what you've heard in this video. It helps us out greatly, and please subscribe if you want to stay informed from videos like this one or all kinds of different videos like tips and tricks or class upgrade videos. Those will be coming soon, so hit the bell for notifications as well so you don't miss out. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.